Well, this is certainly awkward. After the big flop that was Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric and the equally disappointing Sonic Boom Shattered Crystal, Sega and Sanzaru Games responds with another Sonic Boom game. Okay, let's back up a bit here for anybody who hasn't been on the internet since 2014. Sega wanted to reinvent the Sonic series with a new cartoon show, as well as a whole new line of video games that were meant to be more in tune with the American market. I don't think I need to say that Rise of Lyric wasn't received very kindly. If you're like me, I'm sick to fucking death of hearing about this game. I'm not gonna point fingers at anyone who expected a better product. I don't blame anybody for expecting more than mediocrity, especially for a $50 plus game. I mean, you could do a lot better with your money, especially when Smash Bros. Was released a week later. This game looks bland, it's repetitive, and there really isn't any reason to go back to it. That said, I still think that Sonic Boom was perhaps a tad bit overhyped. Fans and non-fans alike were touting Sonic Boom as the game to save the Sonic franchise, when at most all it looked like was a fun spin-off game to an otherwise pretty good cartoon show. Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric is not a good game, and it's certainly not worth your time. Just stating that now before somebody gets the wrong impression. Shattered Crystal was seen more favourably in the eyes of the general public, but that isn't saying a whole lot when your game is bogged down by forced exploration and painfully long levels, no doubt thanks to their asinine design. I apologise for the history lecture, but I feel that context is very important when understanding what sort of game Fire and Ice is. The last thing that the fans wanted was another game from the franchise that in their eyes doomed the franchise. I don't agree with that at all, I feel that's a bit overblown, but even I was calling out Sega's bluff on this one. Trust me, I'm usually the first one jumping to their defence. If I'm calling them out, then you know something's wrong. Despite this, however, I was never going to write off the game as pure shit, because no matter what the game, that's just not fair. With Sanzaru Games at the helm once again, can they win me over with Sonic Boom Fire and Ice? All we can do is hope and pray. Dr. Eggman is back, and this time he's using a crystal known as Ragnium to power his new Eggbot races so he can beat Sonic in a race. You know, you could have just given it to Metal Sonic, right? I've played Sonic for episode 2. I've seen what happens when he absorbs freaky shit. This has a side effect of making the weather go haywire. Large elemental fissures start sprouting up from the ground and give Sonic and friends fire and ice powers. Why?
Because science!
Just roll with it. In no time all the gang is assembled and is on Dr. Eggman's tail. Along their travels they also come across a robot known as Defect, a robot that was meant to attract Ragnium. Turns out he can pretty much do anything except the thing that he was built for. He's a one-time joke, and even when you're supposed to feel sorry for Defect's suffering, it's quickly followed by another funny quip. It feels like a Saturday morning cartoon, and given what we're talking about here, I'd say that's a good thing. There's not much to talk about here in terms of story, to be honest. Sonic and friends chase a robot and foil Eggman's plans a few hours later. It's simple and over fairly quickly, but I wasn't expecting much to begin with. I've got to give credit to the presentation though. I'm a big fan of the handheld Sonics, but man, I'm so sick of still portraits and text. There are even a few jokes that got a chuckle out of me here and there, and overall the voice cast turned in a pretty good performance this time around, so nothing wrong here.
Snore away, has been. Once everyone loses respect for you, you'll never want to get out of that bed again. Believe me, I know what that's like.
Interestingly enough, Sonic Boom Fire and Ice got delayed by a good year. Man, the last time that happened for a Sonic game was... Yes, but regardless, this did leave me hopeful, so let's see how they did. Sonic Boom Fire and Ice, much like its predecessor, has gigantic levels with a lot of stuff to collect in each. Much like that game, these collectibles can be accessed by taking full advantage of the character's special abilities. Sonic can air dash, Tails can use wind currents, Knuckles can dig underground, Sticks can use a boomerang to hit switches and collect faraway items. Amy, now a playable character, can use her hammer to access blocked areas. However, unlike Shattered Crystal, you do not need to collect these items in order to unlock new levels. Additionally, you do not need to stop and switch characters every 30 seconds just to progress. If all you want to do is blast through all the stages as Sonic, then by all means, that is a perfectly plausible option. All of the characters have the homing attack, and all of them have the grapple beam, so who you want to finish the stage with is all a matter of personal preference. This little tweak to the game's structure has the consequence of having much better pacing. This game is fast and has a rather nice flow to it. If you're not a fan of Sonic 4's boosted to spring level design mentality, then Fire and Ice won't do much to please you in that regard. Me, I couldn't care. The levels may be large and in charge from an exploration point of view, but when you're going from point A to point B, they can be cleared in a matter of minutes. In fact, the game even rewards you with Ragnium crystals for clearing the level under a certain time. On top of character specific abilities, Sonic Boom Fire and Ice also contains Fire and Ice, shocking I know. By pressing the L and R buttons you can switch between the two elements to either freeze water or melt ice blocks. That's all these powers are really used for. Shame honestly, I would have liked to have more interesting puzzles centered around these powers. Maybe not in the main levels because I hated Shattered Crystal for that very reason. That said, however, the challenge rooms would have been perfect for this sort of thing. These provide a decent challenge, but there really isn't any point to do them. You get trading cards for beating them, but all these collectibles are really superfluous. Amy's hammers get you different hammer skins, whoop-de-doo, and Sticks build you a robot to race within multiplayer. But who the hell would want to play this game with me? I haven't done all that, but I don't really see any need to. The game certainly isn't forcing you to do it, so why bother? The best unlockables the game gives you are concept art and descriptions for upcoming Sonic Boom episodes. You get these by spending Ragnium crystals, which you also get by smashing robots and collecting these dragon hoops. You can also collect Ragnium crystals by playing minigame stages. Speed tubes and submarine stages return from Shattered Crystal, along with the new boating stages. Again, I haven't done these and I don't plan to. They're optional and really only used to get pointless collectibles. Throughout the course of the story, Eggman will challenge Sonic to a race with one of his Ragnium powered robots. These quickly lose all their luster once you've memorised the course. Bosses take place on two screens, giving the illusion of a vertical battlefield. I especially like the spider boss. Knocking those web balls back at him with my homing attack was so fucking satisfying. But this wouldn't be a video about Sonic Boom if I didn't have anything negative to talk about, and thankfully the things I do have to complain about are honestly not that bad. One thing I don't like about this game is when you get hit. You don't just get knocked back, but rather sent back to a safer part of the level. It might not seem like a big deal to some, and in hindsight it isn't, but it did lead to me losing my bearings a lot of the time. While I am glad to have Amy back in a 2D platformer, I'm a little bit disappointed with how she was implemented. All she has is a hammer strike and that's it. If you ask me, she should have had her hammer jumping abilities from Sonic Adventure. This is just something I observed, but did anyone feel like there was a bit too much green in Sonic Boom? Referring to the levels that is, not Sonic's eye colour. I found that a lot of the levels blended together and the final level is literally just a boss, which I found kind of lame. I do like the fantasy theme level though, I don't think we've had too many of those in Sonic games to my knowledge. I like the pirate theme level too, brings back memories of Sonic Rush Adventure for better or for worse. In conclusion, I found this game to be an all-around massive improvement over Shattered Crystal. It trims out all the unwanted fat and creates a more streamlined experience that I think Sonic veterans will really appreciate. I can say without hesitation that this is one of the best handheld Sonics that I have played in a very long time. I know that's not saying much given that the last handheld games I played were these pieces of shit, but I do feel that much praise is in order here. The developers knew they had something good, so they gave it another shot. Not only that, but they delayed the game so they could take the time to iron out all the kinks. For a Sonic game, that demands respect. This certainly isn't one of my top 10 favourite Sonic games, but I was never expecting it to be that. I came into Sonic Boom Fire and Ice looking for a fast, fun platformer, and I got just that. Bravo Sansaru Games, hats off to you. The best part about Fire and Ice is that it's merely just the appetizer. Sonic Mania and the new next gen Sonic game are on their way. More than ever, the future of Sonic is shining brightly. Rise of Lyric to me was just a misstep, a bump in an otherwise pretty smooth road. If there's anything I want more in this world, it's for people to stop treating this series like their own personal whipping boy. There are people who are going to completely ignore Fire and Ice, tossing it aside as yet another failure to add to that long list, and that's a damn shame honestly. Still, pick this game up when you get the chance, it certainly put me back in the Sonic mood. Man, 2016 has been weird. Both Sonic Boom and Federation Force, two of the most despised games of the year, have actually turned out pretty great. Who knows, with a bit of luck, maybe MGS Survive won't turn out that bad after all. I'm kidding, it's totally going to be shit. Anyway guys, the next Sonic related review will be Sonic Heroes, but not before I finish up Pokemon of course. Till then, thank you for watching, and have a great day.